Hi, I'm Hriday. I'm a music producer and a guitarist. I basically do background arrangements for film scores, and I also do it for songs as well. I play session guitars for quite a few music directors. So if you want to take this as a career, there are options for courses. So for example, if you want to take guitar, then you can take a performance degree. And I basically have a diploma in music production and guitar performance. So there are a couple of courses that way. Either you can take a BA performance, or you can even take an engineering degree, a sound engineering degree. In terms of the software that we actually use, we use softwares called DAWs, which are basically digital audio workstations, and a couple of popular ones are Pro Tools or Cubase or Logic. So there are courses where you can take training in using these particular softwares, and you can get a certificate from the actual manufacturer of the software. For example, Avid gives a Pro Tools like basically a user certificate. Even Ableton does. Ableton and also I guess Logic also does. Apple does give a certificate for that. So you can take courses in actually using these softwares to help you make the music that you want. So I'm a guitarist, but the thing is, apart from being a guitarist, the other skills that you need to have generally as a musician is to develop your ear, to develop your knowledge of music theory, and you need to develop your performance aspects. So basically your stage presence, and also in regards to the music side of things, being your oral ability, basically being able to recognize things when they're being played, or being able to reproduce a certain phrase when it's being played to you, or being able to transcribe. So these kind of skills are very important, especially in sessions, so that you can quickly learn music and quickly play it. So these kind of skills are very important. Also, working knowledge of the engineering side of things, how microphones work, how DAWs work, how mixers work. This also really, it's a good thing to know, apart from just being able to play music. Because in today's world, you kind of need to know everything so that you can become a rounded professional in this field. So by choosing this as a career, you can also learn other skills which will help you to, if you want to change your field, you can do that. You can always do education. So that's a very good part of learning music. And another thing that helps you create value to the industry is by teaching other people what you have learned in your years of experience. So teaching is a very viable opportunity. The second thing that you can do is transfer to non-musical related fields that are still related to audio. So for example, dubbing. So in a film or in a TV series, when the voice of artist needs to be replaced by another person, so that it really helps to know how to record that and also sync it to picture. So that's something that you can learn from a musical aspect such as film scoring, how to sync to picture. You can also have things like Foley. Foley is basically when sounds that are actually part of the video need to be reproduced by the Foley artist. So for example, if somebody is walking in a picture, the actual footsteps are not recorded in that moment, but they are actually added in later in post-production. So that's another ability that you can get when you learn to do this kind of music production. So for college students, my advice would probably be instead of trying to just focus on your instrument, or if you're a vocalist, your voice, and just techniques around that, try to develop yourself in a holistic way where you can be a good musician in general. So for example, that involves abilities like sight reading, it involves abilities like ear training, it involves having a good sense of time, a good sense of pitch. So these kinds of things are universal to musicians regardless of their instrument. So you need to learn all of these things regardless of what instrument you play or if you sing. So that's very important. Also, getting a working knowledge of how music works, how music is arranged, how harmonies are created, how songs are created, how songs are structured is very important. That kind of comprehensive knowledge comes only from years of playing and also trying to analyze the songs that you love. So try to focus on that. Also practice, that's a given, but what's not being said with that is only perfect practice makes perfect playing. So don't practice your mistakes, just try to practice the good things and work on your good habits. Try to identify what habits are actually making your playing weak and try to eliminate them from your playing, because repeating that is just going to do you harm. So the most fun part of work as such is that it doesn't really feel like work. So that's a good thing, because every day that you do this, you actually just feel like you're living your best life and just playing for fun. I mean, it's a hobby that you get to do for a profession, and if you're able to do that, then honestly, I guess you're really blessed. So the thing is, I feel like you get to be creative every single day, and you get to express yourself every single day, which is not a something that any job offers. A lot of times you'll be told what to do and how to do it. In music, you can do things your own way, so that's a great thing, and I think everyone who gets to do this job should be grateful for it. In this field, there are two options for you. So mainly you can be a freelancer, or you can work as an employee for maybe a music director or under a studio. Both are viable options. There are a few differences. So for example, I believe being a freelancer gives you much more exposure to different kinds of music and also different kinds of people who create it. So you get to experience more opinions on music, more approaches, you learn different workflows. Whereas if you're an employee for a studio, I'm pretty sure they have their own workflow or way of doing things that you'll probably have to adhere to. And that is also fine. You will get accustomed to that and work under them. In terms of revenue, I feel being a freelancer is a little bit more profitable. Although the downside of that is not always having stability unless you have a stable network of clients. So again, it comes back to the fact that your network is your net worth in terms of being a freelancer. So you need to have and maintain a load of contacts so that you can actually stay afloat. In terms of being an employee, you have a stable salary that you get, so that actually eliminates the need for you to maintain a number of contacts, and it allows you to basically just work on your music without having to worry about how you're going to get your next paycheck and how you're going to make ends meet. So in terms of the music industry right now in India, so we have two main sections in which it's kind of divided. So one is independent music and one is the film industry. The film industry in India is responsible for most of the work that is being churned out in terms of music, and most of the songs that are publicly known or popular come from film industry. So this culture is slowly starting to change, and people are starting to listen to independent artists. Of course, right now in the independent sector, the overall amount of revenue is low, but it's changing because audiences are starting to build up for independent artists, especially through the rise of social media. People know about independent artists as well, and independent artists have a way to promote their own music apart from the usual avenue of going to a record label and then having them distribute and promote your music for you. And you also get to keep most of the revenue from your music, apart from probably the distribution charges. So that's a very good thing. In terms of film industry, you definitely have royalties from your songs, but again, if it really depends upon the deal that you strike with the record label who's distributing your music. So there is less control in terms of the actual monetary deal that happens. But right now, as of now, the film industry is a little bit more profitable than the independent scene. So for somebody who's thinking of a career seriously in music, I think that would be a good option in India. Thank you for watching. I hope this interview has helped you gain more clarity on music as a profession, and I would really hope that everybody who's watching seriously consider taking this up as a profession. Although it is kind of not an orthodox career, but it's very interesting and it's not explored so much. So I really think it will be worth your time to consider a career in music.